Good evening. The news gang is here for the last time this year. Yes, the year is ending, but what is pending? We'll have a 360-degree look at the good, the bad, and the we don't know what of 2019. And what's in store for the new decade? An outlook for 2020. Also on the show tonight, the kicker, the punchline, the take, the memo, and of course, the angle. What a year it has been, ladies and gentlemen, and some of you have been missing for a while. Yvonne, what happened to you?
So now when my boss asked me that on the show, and he's the one who signed the leave forms, what am I supposed to say?
Anyway,
we hope
you had a good break.
I did. It was fantastic. Thank you. And it's good to be back. I hope you all missed me. I hope you missed me. I hope you missed me.
I did. I kept saying it every time we end the show, how much I miss you.
Yeah. You're on my back. Thank you. Okay.
Okay. Gashuri.
Yes.
An impeachment, not the one in Washington, D.C., but the one in Kiambu.
Wow.
There's this joke in town that people who come from Kiambu County and work in Nairobi County have no governor home and away. So
don't you just mean you, Francis, though?
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, that is
which people?
You represent those people.
Yeah, so
but that is a dramatic development. I mean, just take us through that. What really happened in Kiambu? Why are these people trying to get rid of Babayao? I mean, he already has so much trouble with the courts.
Well, what happened today is a culmination of what has been happening behind the scenes. A lot more than probably what we saw today. Quite a number of issues, a lot of intrigues behind the scenes. And more fundamentally, there's the question of corruption, but there are also issues about power struggles in Kiambu County. I mean, you saw the governor had taken about 28, 29, some saying 30 MCAs to Nakuru, ostensibly to deny today's vote the requisite numbers constitutionally. Remember, Kiambu County Assembly has 92 MCAs. So for you to get the 2/3 majority that is required, you needed at least 62. So the numbers today, as announced by the Speaker, indicate that there were 64 members in the Assembly. Were they there? That's now one of the fundamental questions to be asked. Because the vote indicated that it was a 63 for the impeachment, 1 against. Those MCAs who were in Nakuru were saying there were only 56 members in the Assembly. In fact, some even arguing that 4 of the MCAs who are in Nakuru, that their names were mentioned and they allegedly voted while not there. So this, of course, invites 2 issues. One, there will most likely be a court case to contest the process. Secondly, this matter now moves to the Senate. And when it moves to the Senate can agree with the MCAs or differ with them. If they agree with the MCAs and vote to kick out Waititu, he also has options in the court. He can do High Court, Court of Appeal, and Supreme Court, more or less like what you saw Governor Wambora from Embu do. The Senate can also decide to kick out the motion like it did in the case of Mwangi Wairia in the last term.
Like
and
Kericho, I think.
Professor Chepkoni from Kericho. So his options are still wide, but there will definitely be questions about today's process and the processes before culminating in the impeachment motion.
But nevertheless, a big hit, as it were, for Babayao. I mean, considering that he's already dealing with so much.
True, Joseph. Because remember now, he's facing corruption charges worth 588 million. And part of why he was impeached today were issues to with gross misconduct and abuse of office, among issues to do with giving lucrative tenders to close relatives and family. And that is one of the reasons why the MCAs in Kiambu really wanted him gone. I think we saw those pictures right now when you were speaking about how much they were celebrating when it happened that he had been impeached. But as you said, Gashuri, this is not the end of the road for Waititu. It goes to the Senate. And in fact, in Senate, I think he just needs a simple majority. That's 25 senators, 24 senators, to vote in favor of the motion for it to pass. And even if it does, we still have the courts. And you spoke about the case of Embu Governor Martin Wambora, who was impeached in January 2014 for the first time by his assembly. Went to court. And in April, I think 16th of April, the court, after the Senate, of course, upheld the impeachment, the court did not. I think 7 days later, the county assembly impeached him again, the same April. And again, the same process all over again. The Senate again impeached him, went to court. The High Court upheld the impeachment. Then the Court of Appeal nullified the decision to impeach him. Then he wins the Jubilee ticket and runs again in 2017, and he's still the sitting governor of Embu. So
and then there was a court petition.
There was a court petition
that ended up to the Supreme Court again.
And he still survived. So
but this would be that test. I mean, we have not seen any successful impeachment that leads to the removal of a governor, Linus. What are your thoughts on Kiambu?
I think, first of all, it's really interesting to see the scenes this afternoon in Kiambu. There was this explosion of joy in the county assembly when the motion passed, and there was a lot of dancing and singing, and even outside the house of the MCAs, they were very, very happy with what has happened. But the focus will go to the Senate. And the Senate doesn't seem to have a very good record when it comes to handling these issues. In privileged conversations, you hear of things that are not palatable about the Senate and Senate committees. We've seen them suspiciously clear governors of wrongdoing. Remember earlier this year, I think it was in May, they had a case with the governor of Meru, Governor Kiraitu Murungi. Governor Murungi was facing questions that were raised directly by the Office of the Auditor General. And the Senate cleared this without actually going into the substance of the questions that were raised by the Auditor General. So this is another opportunity. This is another time that the Senate itself comes under a lot of sharp scrutiny on how it conducts these things. The only successful conviction, as pointed out rightly by Jamila, was that of Martin Wambora, and that was back in the first term, that's between 2013 and 2017. So here is a new challenge again. It is a test for the Senate. Whether it's going to meet that test, especially on ethical questions, it will remain to be seen.
But Yvonne, interesting that we still hear stories that, you know, these MCAs were taken out of town to deny quorum. Like it's an old trick in the book, but it seems to be very, very widely used in the country.
Absolutely.
In 2019,
that seems to have been, yes, the mode of it. And it's interesting, even in the news story that we've just read. And then not only are they absent, but immediately the vote is conducted, they are busy talking about the numbers wherever they are.
Because they knew how they had done their math.
Exactly, and they had worked it out, or so they thought. And I think, sadly,
that's supposed to be simple math, wasn't it?
Right.
Yep. Just deny 62 or 63.
And then now it's how many were really in the house? Yep. Was it 63 or is it what, 59? Is that, or 56, the number that
56,
the
59.
others are claiming, you know, were actually present in the house? And that is the interesting thing. So, you know, you are physically absent, but then now you go and start making comments about it. But I think it's also going to be interesting to see the true test. And I think with the Constitution, like you're saying about fully impeaching a governor, we've seen it, but then it goes to the courts, and then, you know, that is overturned. I mean, the man literally with 9 lives in this country when it comes to impeachment is Governor Wambora, and he's always gotten his, you know, sorted out at the courts. And so I think it's maybe time to start checking this constitutional, you know, right that is put up for MCAs. But I think it'll also be interesting to see what this then portends for the other embattled governors, Lenol Kolal of Samburu, and I think perhaps more immediately and more urgently, Mike Sonko, because we heard the MCAs who are meeting, was it just last week? Yep. Or earlier this week in Windsor, you know, and they were sitting down to discuss the modalities of that. So it's going to be an interesting time. And with, of course, the rumor that there's a number of other governors who are supposedly under investigation, and we could see some more arrests. And
but it's interesting, actually, because I think that this is going to compound Waititu's political problems, because there is a sense in which all these things are intertwined. It's not just MCAs going there to vote to impeach this guy. I mean, we've seen a string of things. First, of course, there is the corruption thing that he has been dealing with, but then there is the question. A lot of people will say, well, who does this Ferdinand Waititu support, for example? Because sometimes in this country, unfortunately, processes may appear legal, they may appear what they are, but usually there tend to be some hidden hands, some things that are not said in the open, but they tend to drive some of these things that people...
Because impeachment is also a political process in as much as it would be a legal one. And we were just talking, Francis, earlier on about Ikonya, the MCA. Who is he? He's the new leader of majority?
No. Actually, Anthony Ikonya, the Kiambu Township MCA, was the only MCA who voted no against that motion. Right. Yet, he's the immediate former majority leader. Yes. And his ouster was as dramatic as you saw today, being replaced by Gideon Gashara. And the anti-Waititu brigade coalesced and kicked him out. And it was a very feisty...
all those political
It was a warning shot, so to speak.
It was a warning shot, so to speak. Remember, there was also another impeachment motion against the deputy governor. The MCA for Waitavia was saying that the governor has no mental capacity to conduct affairs of acting governor, and that he had taken office, irregularly. But that motion was removed or was withdrawn as a result of some consensus at the Jubilee Party headquarters.
That was supposedly reached there, which at the time they said was actually supposed to affect both motions,
of them, right?
Yeah, because it was supposed to. But I remember some very clearly, actually, it is only the people who are trying to impeach the deputy governor who came out to say they had kind of shelved this one pending further consultations.
It was a game.
But the people who actually wanted to impeach Waititu never said anything, even though there was supposedly that meeting with Raphael Tuju.
It has, this impeachment motion in Kiambu has something to do with Kiambu County, but also has some extra force from outside Kiambu County. I mean, those are some basic things. Because it is not easy to lobby all these MCAs, 63 of them or thereabout, to vote in one way. It requires a lot of effort, a lot of resources, a lot of time. And there's a bigger deal about it. In fact, now look out for what will happen in the Senate. The same fault lines that you saw in the Assembly today, you are likely to see them in the Senate, but on a bigger scale. The whole handshake dynamics will come in, who supports who, as Joe says, will come in. So expect some huge drama early in the year when the Senate resumes.
Speaking about drama, Joe, I'm sorry to interrupt you. He said drama, and I remembered what happened in Mombasa during the Mashujaa Day celebrations when Governor Waititu was aliondolewa where he was seated. He was actually asked to leave. I think alienda akakaa kwa dais, kesho you were there. And then ondolewa akaambiwa aondoke ende akae kwingine. And I think slowly watu wanaanza kuonyesha kwamba mambo yako sio mazuri in this way. Those subtle signs and hints that showing you that you're probably not on the right side.
The president has been struggling with the fact that this is someone, of course, who supported him earlier, comes from his backyard, so to speak, and yet, I mean, literally his governor back home, yet he has all this, is saddled by all these corruption allegations and everything. And it really is never good optics, to be seen hanging around with someone like that, even though he may be said to be innocent until proven guilty. So I think there's also that, especially at a time when the president is saying that he has declared war on corruption, and then suddenly he is seen to be entertaining or at least consorting with someone who is at that point a symbol of this fight, in that sense that, well, we've seen governors taken to court, and that's things they will quote as when they tell you that the war on corruption is in motion. They will say, so and so has been taken to court and that sort of thing. So it must have been a dilemma for him. But I think from a political dimension, you also have to note that Ferdinand Waititu has been associated with the deputy president at a certain point, and so it's not impossible to think that he lost favor at that point.
Absolutely. And I mean, there's lots to talk about. We really have to take that commercial break now. Waititu, of course, picking a good day to be impeached.
Same
If we
day.
can
Same
even
as
put it
Trump.
at that. Yeah, same as Trump. Like, what are the odds of that? We will be right back. We have a lot more to discuss. The war on graft. We'll be talking about
That
BBI.
big ruling that
is coming up tomorrow. Yeah, so there's much more. So please stay with us. The hashtag is NewsGang. Keep tweeting, keep texting. We'll see you after the break.